You're listening to the Manifesting Miracles podcast. By tuning in today, you're dialing into your frequency of abundance. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, your manifestation master and guide. Ever since 2016, I've been obsessively dedicating my life to uncovering, dissecting, and analyzing every aspect of the practices and modalities in which we call manifestation. You see, you are truly more powerful than you can even imagine and fully capable of manifesting miracles on the daily. I'm going to teach you how to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams using your own divine power. So let's get started manifesting your miracles right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time for you to align with your highest and your best self. Welcome back. It is Manifesting Miracles. I'm your illustrious host, Michelle Juanita Lamont. And today we are diving into a topic that resonates deeply with so many of us. The fear of being female and manifesting in a male-dominated world. This episode is especially important as we explore how fear, particularly the fear tied to our gender, I'm going to make sure I say that appropriately, affects our ability. It deeply, absolutely affects our ability to manifest our dreams and our desires. Since the dawn of time, women have been conditioned to live in fear. Caveman hits me over the head, drags me into the cave. I'm now his. Adam and Eve, who was the bad one? I think, why do men have an Adam's apple if the woman bit the apple? Putting it out there. Let's just think about that for a second. Whether the fear is instilled by a male-dominated society, that's your fear. Whether your fear is accepting less, a fear of surrendering our rights over our own fucking bodies. I get so tongue-tied. I get so worked up on this subject. I meditated for an hour before I did this podcast because I knew it was going to get me riled up. But the pervasive emotions, no matter what they were, no matter how that fear manifested in your reality, those pervasive emotions have shaped our reality. We have to accept it. That matrix was the matrix you were in before this podcast. And after this podcast, you're going to start taking actions and steps to move into the matrix where you create, not out of fear, but out of faith. Let's start by understanding why fear holds such a powerful grip on us. And no matter who you are, I don't care what part of the game you're in, what matrix you're living in, fear is a part of your reality. You can't get away from it, okay? But let's start understanding why it holds so much power. Well, fear is a natural emotion. And for the good of fear, it's designed to protect us from danger, right? Don't touch the stove. You touch the stove, you burn your hands. Now you're going to have fear whenever your parents say, don't do something. But when it comes to being female, it's often used as a tool to suppress us and to control us. In a male-dominated reality, fear is a mechanism that keeps women in check. Don't get too big. Don't be too proud of yourself. You're not a man. If you were the man, you would be the man. Thank you, Miss Swift. So in this reality, okay, we're taught to be so cautious, not to speak too loudly, and to accept less than we deserve. In my country, the United States of America, we still get 87 cents to every dollar a man makes. And women are almost half the population in my country. We don't fight. We don't gather. We definitely aren't voting. This fear becomes internalized, even from a little girl. One day you're cute in pigtails, and the other day you're a whore for wearing that short little skirt. And as your fear starts to internalize, it leads us to believe that somehow we're less capable and less worthy because we don't have something hanging from between our legs. And it's actually that deeply ingrained fear manifesting in various ways, from doubting our own abilities to settling for less in our personal lives. Every single day, I have a coaching client. Every single day, somebody books a half hour, a 1 hour call with me. Every single day, somebody's taking one of my classes. And every single day, I hear from these women. Now I want to talk about, now that we kind of have broken down understanding what fear is, I want to talk about the impact of fear in manifesting and its abilities to prevent us from actually manifesting. You see, if you've never listened to my podcast and this is the first time you're listening, well, I want you to understand that you're going to need to binge about 10 or 20 of these before this lingo starts to catch on. And when you've binged about 50, your life starts to change. And when you've binged about 100, you start to move energy. And when you've binged about 150, you start to see you are the creator of your reality. And when you binge 200, you start to move energy like a fucking master. And when you've binged every single episode, you're probably going to take a class because you're ready to supersize everything you're doing. But the impact that fear has is undeniable. No matter who you are, you have a fear of something. And we are manifesting what our highest vibration actually is. Manifesting is all about energy. Manifesting is all about belief. And when fear dominates our thoughts, it lowers our vibrational energy. It creates a barrier. It creates a stopgap. It creates and prevents us and our desires from co-creating. Imagine trying to plant a garden in infertile soil. No matter how much you water it, the plant will struggle to grow. Similarly, when our minds are fertile with fear, our dreams struggle, just like the plant in the unfertile soil, to take root and flourish. Fear makes us hesitate. It makes us second guess our worth. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it blocks the abundance that is rightfully ours. You have a right, a divine right to create and flourish and shine and get through the veil. Let me share with you a little story of a former client of mine. We'll call her Sarah. She really, truly always dreamed of starting her own business. She had the skills. She had the passion. She had a fan-fucking-tastic idea. When she told me the idea, I was like, wow, that's a really good idea. But she had this insane fear of failure and rejection from her childhood, from people who had teased her, from boys who had teased her, from her father, from her mother never going after what she wanted, et cetera, et cetera. It was deep rooted in her amygdala, in her psyche, and in her energy. She always doubted her abilities. She never thought she was good enough or that people would take her seriously. This fear just completely paralyzed her. And for years and years, she stayed at the job that made her miserable. miserable. One day, she decided she had had enough. She acknowledged her fear and she began to fight back. She booked a session with me and became one of my coaching clients. So she started small, taking one step at a time. She hired me. She attended workshops. She read books on entrepreneurship. She joined support groups, and then I told her how to find people that were going to help her. Showed her how to manifest these things into her reality. And slowly but surely, she began to see her fear for what it was. A barrier that she had the power to completely dismantle. Now, she runs a very successful business in Santa Clarita, California, and it is a testament on how overcoming fear can lead to unimaginable success. This transformation is not just about overcoming fear. It's about challenging our emotions, including rage. The rage that we all have as females, especially if you're an American female. But I'm not saying that the South African female or the Australian female or the British or the English or the any country you're in and you don't have the same fears. You absolutely do. And sometimes even a lot of places way worse. Sexual trafficking, kidnapping, drug mules, your children being taken for those purposes, debts from perceived threats that your family now owes. Hand me your child. It's a brutal world in some people's matrix. It's more about challenging our emotions. And female rage, often viewed so negatively. And it can really be a profound source of energy and motivation. And for me and my clients, it absolutely is. When we acknowledge and harness this rage, we can use it to fuel our ambitions and to drive us forward towards our goals. So let's talk about some steps to conquering fear. But fear doesn't have to rule us. And that's the most important thing I need you to know. Here are 2 powerful steps that you can take to conquer fear and reclaim your manifestation powers. Let's get started. First, we simply have to acknowledge the fear. It exists. Identify where it comes from and how it affects your life. Is it fear of failure? Fear of rejection? Whatever it is, once you figure it out, challenge it. Ask yourself this one question. If you have a pen and paper, write it down. Is this fear based on reality? Or is this a product of conditioning? Is this real? Or am I being programmed to believe it's real? Is it real or am I being programmed to believe it's real? Now, write down your fears and then counter each and every fear with an affirmation that is applicable to the fear. Let me give you an example. If you fear you're not good enough, connect with, I am capable and deserving of all the success and happiness that the universe and I manifest. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough information. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the money. I don't have the intelligence. I don't have any followers. I started this podcast with a $99 mic and 500 followers on Instagram. Last checked, almost 600,000 people have listened. I have over 5,000 Instagram followers and nearly 30,000 TikTok followers, and I just started TikTok last year. I used that rage inside of me from being suppressed, from being downtrodden, from being abused, from being belittled, from being too much, too loud. You know, my ex-husband used to say, this isn't the Michelle show. Well, fuck it is. The fuck it is. No matter what that line that comes into your head, counter it. Easy. I am capable of deserving all the success and happiness that I can manifest with the universe, period. The second step is empowering yourself with knowledge. Educating yourself, not only with your rights, but your worth and your potential. Knowledge is power. And when you arm yourself with it, you fear literally nothing because it doesn't have a grip on you anymore. Listen to this podcast all day long. Binge it. Take my free course. Take one of my paid courses. The universe is going to bring you that money right back. Surround yourself with positive influences and listen to my podcast as often as possible. Now let's talk about embracing our power. As women, we have an incredible power within us. It's a power that has been suppressed, but never motherfucking extinguished. And when we embrace this power, we tap into a source of energy that can transform our lives and accelerate our manifestation journey every single time. We have to express and explain our power, not just to ourselves, but to the world. We have to proclaim it. We have to say, this is who we are. And by doing so, we then shatter the illusions of fear and step into our truest and biggest potential. Remember, the universe only responds to the energy we emit. The highest vibration is the connection. And when we project confidence and when we project self-worth and when we project fearlessness, we attract the same energy back to us. Now let's talk about manifesting faster and being one of those fearless females. It all ties together. Conquering the fear of being female is not just about overcoming obstacles. It's truly and honestly, it's about recognizing and harnessing our each innate powers. When we do this, you and I, we align ourselves with the highest vibration, making each and every manifestation more powerful and more immediate. For me, it was a slow boat. I could do a parking spot, but nothing else. And every time I wanted to give up, the universe was like, Michelle, if you don't get this, if you don't master this, you might die. See, I'd already attempted suicide, and I was struggling with staying alive. And I went back to school, and for 18 months, I studied how the brain works, how fear is fake, it's an illusion, what damage it does, but also that we can reconnect neural pathways in our brain by meditating. Alpha state meditation, first thing in the morning, boom. And the more and more that you listen to these podcasts, start taking this advice, hell, take my courses. I have a live course coming up sometime. Go check my calendar. It's right here in the show notes. Slide right over. So many times I accepted my fear and I became its best friend. I danced with the devil all the time. And the demon inside my mind was created. Just like when your parents made that monster spray and sprayed it under your bed to say that the monsters went away. You can spray your energy into your reality and make those monsters go away too. Conquering the fear of being female and overcoming obstacles is what we're here to be. And when we do this, we align ourselves with the highest vibration. I want you to understand that you have a divine right to co-collaborate, and you and the Creator are not separate. And you are a powerful, powerful creator. So ladies, let's break from the chains of fear. Let's reclaim our power and manifest the life that we came here to create. I want you to understand, bestie, like if you were sitting here in front of me And you can pretend I'm sitting across from you right now. I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder, and I'm going to look you in your eyes. And I'm going to put my hand on my heart, and I'm going to pour into you. You are powerful. You are deserving. You are ready. You are abundance. You are divine. You are protected. And now the universe is ready to shower you with all of the abundance that you could ever possibly receive. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you, your angels and your guides worked so hard to make sure that you found me, and they are not ready to give up on you, and neither am I. And what do we do here at Manifesting Miracles at the end of the show? We share our vibrational energy. I'm shaking my titties for you right now. You feel it? I got big old double D's. There's a lot of volume here. And I want you to lean in to this vibration when we share it, because every single podcast, you're tapping into all 600,000 of us and growing, because you're going to share this podcast with everybody you know. You're going to tell your barber about it. You're going to tell your hairstylist about it. You're going to tell your nail tech about it. You're going to tell your girlfriends at book club. You're going to tell PTA moms about it. Everywhere you go, have you heard about Manifesting Miracles? And when you raise the collective consciousness by helping more people illuminate their lives, the universe says to you, how may I serve? Because if you're constantly asking, gimme, 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 the universe looks back at you, gimme, gimme, gimme. And when you step back and say, how may I serve? Oh, spread Michelle's podcast everywhere. That's why we told you about it. Put it on your Instagram. Put it on your TikTok. Talk about it. Share it. Be bold. Be strong. Be brave. Michelle's doing it. And look how it's working out for her. And you raise the collective consciousness by sharing this. Baby, you are tapping into a divine energy you have never worked with before. Never. So in closing, we always do the same thing, and here we go. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything, everything, everything. Us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Is always working out for us. Everything, 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 everything. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's time for you to get out there and manifest your miracles. It's time for you to go and binge and binge and binge and binge. This is the moment and the time where you shift everything. I feel it. I know it. It's you. It's now. It's here. I love you, producers. Cue that motherfucking music. Yeah. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thanks for listening to this episode of Manifesting Miracles. Now it's time for you to take action. I invite you to hang out with me just a little bit more by signing up for my newsletter. You'll get instant exclusive access to the practices that will chart your own path to abundance. And yes, spark that highest version of you. Head to the show notes right now so you don't miss a thing. Now listen, I fucking believe in you. And it's now time for you to win, win, win! Yes! Yes!